or less line, Ryan Sexton.
Don't you know it? Don't you know it? If you saw my Publix bill, Joe Fortunato, you'd be glad you have cats. What am I saying? You probably are glad that you have cats. All right, so you know who I am, Brian Sexton. I am the cruise director here. The two gentlemen who are here to talk Jags football with you for Jaguars Happy Hour, Jeff Lageman. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, hello.
And Coach Mark Duffner.
Hey,
Duff,
Brian.
how are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be with both of you guys, really.
It's nice
it's a
to
thrill
have you.
for me.
Yeah, thrill. Wow, we all hit the close music. You don't get any better than that.
No.
Done. Show over, folks. We have a big show for you. Let's start with this. Let's hear from the head coach about his thoughts on the joint practice session. Both of you guys were there. We're going to talk about it extensively here between 4 and 5 o'clock, and then Tony Boselli will join us for Jags HQ. But here's head coach Liam Cohen with his initial thoughts at his press conference following yesterday's joint practice session.
I thought today was a good step in the right direction in terms of running the football and getting stuff targeted and communicated the right way. I was pleased with the way the backs were hitting the holes. Still tough to evaluate the second and third level, like what the yards actually come out to be. But I was pleased with at least the line of scrimmage at times. They've got some guys up front that I have a lot of respect for on their D-line, and I thought our guys played hard.
Listen, he did not say he was pleased with anything after the joint practice in New Orleans. So for him to come out so quickly and say, I liked what I saw, well, the right word is response. Jeff, we talked about it in the hotel in New Orleans last week. How do you get this team to respond?
Well, I mean, that's exactly what you're looking for as a coach, is a response in a positive fashion. And, thank goodness you had another joint practice. I mean, if you didn't have that opportunity as a player, you're sitting there scratching your head going, where are we heading? And to go against Carolina and to come out and do pretty well. And I'm not saying that they dominated the practice, but they had a very physical, even battle at times, and at times they got the best of the Carolina Panthers. I thought it was a really good day, Duff, overall.
Oh, I thought it was excellent. And again, I'm sure that Coach challenged these guys coming off. I wasn't there at the New Orleans joint practice. You guys were. But, whatever it was, I know this much. They came out fast. They came out physical. I think they, as you said, responded properly as far as that's concerned. And I'll tell you one real quick thing. I thought the work they got, live work they got in special teams, that Heath Farwell set up in terms of the punt coverage live, punt return live, a dozen reps each. Superb. I mean, you can't beat, you're not going to get that in a preseason game. You may not get it in 3 preseason games. The number of snaps, the quality of effort, the repetitions, I thought it was exceptional. It's Heath Farwell's drill. I guess it was even better than what they opted to do in New Orleans. Superb.
Yeah, New Orleans' the special teams was kind of an afterthought.
Yeah.
But then again, they had like 90 snaps on offense and 90 snaps on defense. So where's the room for special teams, right?
Not much.
There wasn't a whole lot. And, how do you know that Liam was not pleased with the performance in New Orleans? Quite simply, I mean, after the New Orleans practice and the game, he started talking about, we're probably going to see the starters a little bit this week, and
That's a shot across the bow.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily shot across the bow. It's promise. Look, what we did down there in New Orleans is not good enough.
We're going to get the work done somehow, either on the practice field or on the game field.
Well, it's not about just work. It's not about punching that time card. It's about punching the time card and making it damn good.
Yeah.
Making it to the point where you go, that's who we are. That's who we want to be, because what you saw in New Orleans, that's not what this team wanted to be.
Yeah, I mean, he's all about being fundamentally sound and physically and mentally tough. And that's what I saw in the field yesterday, and really all the drills that they had right now. I was very excited about it. I mean, we talk about the run game coming alive. Geez, well, Pete, we saw a number of big runs. It was, I think, Bashal Tutin's best afternoon or best morning as far as that's concerned. I mean, a lot of big things. The red zone, they're dominant in the red zone, dominated that period, I thought, with Trevor being very successful, great throws, great catches, so a lot of positives.
I think the biggest difference, and you might guess this because he's an offensive-minded head coach, okay, and this obviously has a lot to do with this, was on the offensive side of the ball, and it was the performance of the offensive line.
And we're going to talk about them a lot coming up here.
That was the biggest thing.
Before we do, he opened the door on Monday to starters playing. And he didn't slam it shut yesterday after the practice session. He talked about wanting to see the tape, see where their team was. My inclination after was he doesn't need to see anymore. What do you think?
I think you're accurate in that.
We haven't heard anything.
Based on the practice they had yesterday. But I like the fact that first and foremost, he's going to tell you exactly what's on his mind. There's no fooling around. He's direct as far as that's concerned. I know he challenged the team to practice like they did yesterday. They came out and responded in a big, big way. We've talked about that. And then, hey, after he sees the film, he'll make the best decision for the team and for the players. I love that about it. It's not, well, we're going to do it this way and we're stubborn about it. He wants to be good. He wants to be better. Whatever it takes, that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's going to do.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you go and you look at the statements that he makes and the body language, okay, after New Orleans they're playing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and
Yes.
then after the joint practice, then you see, well, we got to look at the tape, and if I had to guess, I would say they're maybe leaning towards not playing him.
Okay. I think that's probably accurate just based on what we saw yesterday. I want to talk about the offensive line and the news that we have seen the last couple of days. Before I do, how about a look at the UF Health injury report? UF Health is the official healthcare provider of the Jaguars. Chuma Edoga and Wyatt Milam, the two offensive linemen who are on that list. Word is both of them could probably be back at practice next week.
Yeah, and I think it looks like maybe a knee and maybe a wrist. I mean, just based on observation, but we'll see.
And then LaQuint Allen is out for the rest of training camp. Parker Washington could be back next week as well. Both of those guys have what have been termed soft tissue injuries, which you hate to hear.
Mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
It could be a hamstring.
In other words, we're not telling you.
Quad, bicep, pec. I mean, I don't know.
It covers a multitude of areas, that's for sure. And hey, they're going to do what they got to do to get back.
Well, they don't have to talk about injuries this time of year, and I think a lot of people, some fans might get upset. And, hey, why don't you just tell us what it is? Well, I mean, they don't have to.
Right.
And
why share information?
Well, and the reality is that, look, this time of year, every organization is watching what other organizations are saying and doing, okay? Trying to get a gauge on, hey, look, might this guy be available from that team because they're dealing with that injury, and trying to get a good guesstimate on what they may be able to acquire from a team. And so giving the littlest possible clues is the best course of action.
And your perception of that and what you just gave to the audience, our listeners, is exceptional. I know that this personnel group led by James Gladstone is keenly studying that across the board, if you will. And that's why they're acting and adding players as they have.
Why share information that doesn't benefit you?
Without a doubt.
Not at this point. It certainly doesn't. That's your UF Health injury report. UF Health, the official healthcare provider of the Jaguars. The news today is that Cole Van Lanen is off the physically unable to perform list. From both of your perspectives, what does that tell you?
Well, I'll say this. I think it tells me that he's done everything he can that's not on a practice field doing football stuff, and that they're comfortable with where he's at this stage in his recovery, and they're ready to cut him loose to do some football activities on the field with the team. But it's not like he's off the PUP and now he's going back to practice and he's going to step in and be your starting right guard next week. There's still a process that's involved in recovery from an ACL, because you have to remember his surgery was, I think, like mid-January or something like that with his knee, and so you're talking, he's not that 9 months is kind of a magic window, and I don't know. I mean, it's
so to
when
translate.
He's ready, he'll be ready to go.
Okay, I was going to ask if he's on track.
But there's steps to take. Yeah, he said he feels great, so I believe that he'll be ready to go when he's ready to go. And the great thing is that you got guys that can play in the meantime.
Yeah,
absolutely. And those guys have had opportunities to make marks, make movement, progress in terms of making this club or being perhaps a full-time starter. I think they've done an excellent job of bringing him along. We've watched him through the practice routine, going through the mechanics of movement and rehab and agility and actual football work during the practice routine. And if I'm a player here, the way they've handled Cole, they've seen that. They brought him along at the pace that he's required, medically and under the supervision of our trainers superbly. So that's a commitment to we're going to take care of our players here. The players have seen that. I'm glad he's back. I think he'll go through acclimatization. It'll take him, like Jeff has properly said, a step-like process before he gets back into really full-time football. They'll bring him along, but good news today.
So your perspective on the offensive line as a whole, knowing what you know, that Cole Van Lanen is perhaps on track, right? He's off the PUP list. You have Emmanuel Pregnon, who emerged as a very talented, very capable left guard in New Orleans. And then they made a trade for a very large human being, Daniel Fa'alele. We've confirmed the pronunciation on that. 6'8", 380, the largest Jaguar ever. And it brings you to a point where you now have numbers. The one guy that you don't know anything about is at this point is Patrick McCarry.
And
where he's at.
Well, and I think my guess is that maybe he's headed to IR to start the season.
Yeah. So how are we feeling about the offensive line?
Well, I mean, look, I think it was a position last year that you addressed it aggressively in free agency, and you haven't stopped addressing it since. And I think that's what it takes to be a good offense. And, look, all of a sudden now when we were going into this training camp, we were sitting there talking about possibilities about where guys were going to be playing at, and all of a sudden here we are, and the possibilities are still open.
Yeah.
And they were talking about making these competitive across the board, and the best guys are going to play. Well, the reality is in the NFL, and let me just make one mention of this here real quick. There's been some past general managers, and I'm not going to name any names.
I don't think you have to.
Okay, that would not have orchestrated this trade for Fa'alele. Okay, and here's why. Because there are some guys that are on the roster that are his draft picks, and there's also some guys on the roster that were his free agents. Okay, and then you don't want to interrupt that, right? Because it makes you look bad. Well,
now everyone knows who you're
now
talking
let's
about.
fast forward to James Gladstone. Look, he's got draft picks on this roster too. Okay, and at that guard position. And Monheim is a center that could play guard.
Yep.
Heck, I don't want to make myself look bad. Yep. I can't bring in a guy of trade because, I drafted Monheim and I drafted Wyatt Milam. I don't want to bring anybody in to compete with them because it'll make me look bad. James Gladstone said, I don't care. I want to be a better football team. To me, and if you're a Jaguar fan, just take that little tidbit of information and feel proud of what our general manager is about. It's not about him. It's about being a good football team and making the roster better.
Let me tell you, you should open the front door of your house, go out and yell as loud as you can, hooray, or Duval,
yes,
whichever
right.
one you want. But I, as a coach, and I'm sure these coaches love this environment because nobody's sitting still. They're going to go out and canvas the world to try to find players that can help us win. And I like this one. I like it a lot. The guy has shown that he's got good run blocking ability. He struggled some perhaps in the past. There's all kinds of evaluations right now. The evaluation on this player I care about is what our people do with it. And what I've seen them do with players here in terms of multiple positioning and flexion as far as that's concerned is superb. So I'm confident and positive about it.
Yeah, Fa'alele, they traded, a late round pick, six round pick. You're not trading a 6th-round pick for a guy that you don't expect to make your football team.
Right.
So, and here's the reality. It's not going to be an easy decision. He's been a right guard.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Ezra Cleveland was moved from left guard over to right guard because of the performance of Emmanuel Pregnon at left guard. Well, Ezra Cleveland just had arguably his best week of practice this week at right guard. Yep. And so these are good problems to have, about who's going to play and who's going to play where.
And there's the point, because I think for the last week or two, as the injuries have mounted along that front, the concern has been, right? They went from 16 players to 9, and they were thin, and Ricky Lee, and nothing against Ricky Lee from Riverside High, but he's not a frontline guy. Now all of a sudden you're having to perhaps move him into the number 2s, and it just doesn't go where you want to go at this point. And now all of a sudden, at least here on Thursday evening before preseason game number 2, Jaguars fans, you can feel pretty good about where your offensive line is headed. Let's take our first break. When we come back, we'll keep the conversation going about yesterday's practice session between the Jaguars and the Carolina Panthers. You're listening to Jaguars Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
Frank Frangie here. When you think of barbecue in Jacksonville, it's got to be Bono's Pit Barbecue. For over 75 years, Bono's has been smoking Jacksonville's favorite barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So go to bonosbarbecue.com or call their fantastic catering department at 904-332-7427. That's 904-332-7427. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Seabreeze Propane is now a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Jags don't just partner with Seabreeze, they use Seabreeze Propane.
Wait a minute. This means we're basically on the team? I'm ready to deliver.
Propane tank? You deliver propane.
Exactly, and I take my position very seriously.
For the Jaguars, your home or your business, you can count on Seabreeze. New customers call Seabreeze and get $50 off your first propane delivery.
I'll head to the end zone. Can somebody carry me?
Seabreeze Propane. Slow mascot, fast delivery.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
The moment you drop off donations at a North Florida Goodwill, your things start new lives. A donated jersey helps someone suit up for success through education and training. A pair of old cleats helps a job seeker step confidently into new career opportunities. Every donation fuels Goodwill's mission to provide education, training, and career opportunities, removing barriers to employment and building brighter futures across our community. To find your nearest donation center and learn more, visit goodwillnorthfl.org. Goodwill, where your things start new lives.
Jaguars fans, grab your passport. Open and fund a new Everbank performance account for your chance to win the Everbank London Getaway Experience. Round-trip airfare for two, hotel accommodations, and tickets to the Jaguars game in London this October. Start your journey today at everbank.com/London. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and DC 18 and older. The Everbank London Getaway Sweepstakes from June 29 through August 27. For official rules, which include alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London rules. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank, NA, member FDIC.
The Jags have been putting in the work, and Butler Toyota Jacksonville has the proof. One teal practice cone, straight from the field, signed by the Jaguars players, and now it can be yours. Perfect for your fan cave. Enter the Jags at Work sweepstakes, presented by Butler Toyota Jacksonville, for your chance to win this one-of-a-kind autographed piece of Jaguars history. Go to jaguars.com/sweepstakes to learn more. Jags at Work sweepstakes, presented by Butler Toyota Jacksonville.
Rolling right along through Happy Hour. Hour number one here on 1010XL, 92.5, and all the Jaguars social channels, including the Jaguars YouTube channel. Our broadcast includes the fact that Ticketmaster is the presenting sponsor for tomorrow night's game here at Everbank Stadium. Ticketmaster is the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We talked a little bit about starters, just in case folks did not connect with that, didn't hear the head coach yesterday at his post-practice news conference. Here's Liam Cohen after the Jaguars' strong performance against Carolina, talking about whether or not he'd play starters on Friday evening against the Panthers.
I'm not sure. I got to see how we came out of today. I don't want to say either way yet. I really got to go look at this tape, see how we kind of come out of it. I'll make probably a decision, over the next 24 hours.
Keep the fellas sharp.
Absolutely.
Keep them thinking. I might want to be ready for Friday night just in case. Although, if I'm putting $1 in the middle of the table, and I'm not, it would be on the fact that we'll see fewer starters rather than more. Well, we saw 2 last week.
Well, and I think you played well against the Carolina Panthers in the joint practice. So I would likely lean to not playing some, but there's some guys that you got to play.
Some guys who want to play.
Yeah, and some that need to play still. Yeah. I mean, there's some guys that might be younger and need the reps, and you might need it from a numbers standpoint. So we'll have to just wait and see.
Yeah, and that was the thought he had early in the week, that would help the current climb, if you will, the offensive line health if we played them a little bit. Now that's changed a little bit, both in the way they played in the practice and ascending health of our players.
Let's cover the defense a little bit here, and it's brought to you by GEHA, the Defensive Coverage of the Game, Government Employees Health Association. So I spent most of yesterday watching the defensive side. I know you were over on the offensive side. Duff, I saw you didn't stop moving. You saw everything.
Well, I tried to. I tried to move around right now and loved the ability to see it.
So two guys who stood out for plays that they made. First is Travis Hunter, and we can talk about him. And the other is Antonio Johnson, whose energy level really drove the defensive performance. Go where you'd like from here, fellas.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. First of all, I thought our guys did a real good job of stopping the run, and we were knocking back the offensive line. I mean, I felt those guys on defense yesterday. Walker was making plays. Eric Armstead knocking them back and causing tackles for loss. So I thought our ones played pretty darn good. And then, as you said, I saw Antonio Johnson. I like the physicality that guy brings now, our safety. He's not afraid to hit and then some. And he demonstrated that. Husky did too. I saw Husky bring the wood as far as that's concerned in terms of hits. The physicality was good, across the board. So, whether it was Foyer in a tackle for loss, we had a number of sacks. I liked what I saw in terms of our run defense and really the pressure we put on the quarterback.
Yeah, I watched offense all day and then watched film on the defense. And I thought that you mentioned Travis Hunter. I thought he did some good things, but also there's some things he needs to do better. Right. I think that's still a process. He could have come up one time and run support on goal line when his guy blocks down. You got to come up and fill. He was really late doing that. Lost a guy in coverage one time. But defensively, the guys in the middle, which are Devon Hamilton and Matt Dickerson, just a big, strong, you ain't moving them anywhere guys. And it's fun to watch them, especially when you have two defensive ends that are proud of playing the run like Josh and Trayvon. There's not every defensive end in the world likes to sit there and, be a really good run player. And those two guys are really good. I expected Josh and Trayvon to play well. Carolina's got issues at tackle, and it showed, and it should show itself when you're playing that type of situation. I want to see the defense get their hands on the ball more. That's something that's hasn't been great yet. It's been good in the practices with themselves, but in the joint practices, I don't know if they've gotten a takeaway yet.
They don't. They don't have one yet.
Yeah,
so an area that needs to be better there on defense.
How about the linebackers?
Well, shoot, I saw Foyer,
looking right at you.
Foyer all over the field.
I heard he had a tremendous day.
He did. No, he did. And Jeff just described, if you're a linebacker, this is paradise with Devon Hamilton, and Dickerson, and again, those two edge setters right now, guys that want to set the edge, take pride in it. The very first stretch play, perimeter play they ran, Josh Hines-Allen's tackled for loss. But at any rate, linebackers, I thought they rolled those two, Ventrell and Brandon Combs, as far as, alternating them with the first group. And I thought both of them showed up as far as that's concerned. Combs had a couple of real good triggers. What I mean by a trigger is he saw a pass, he read the quarterback's eyes, read his direction and delivery of the quarterback, put his feet in the ground, and then, sprinted to the play. So he drove. It's, again, ball out break we talk about. I like what I saw as far as that's concerned. So linebackers showed up, and then, when they needed him, Dennis Gardeck on the edge, some in dime personnel, but as an edge player, outside linebacker, was able to present real good cover, real good pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, he's a good football player.
Yes.
I'll add this about the linebackers, and it's kind of fun to watch because when you watch Foyer, okay, so let's say Foyer and Branson Combs are on the field at the same time. Okay, or it doesn't even matter. It could be Ventrell. Just say Foyer and one of the other linebackers. Mm-hmm. The ball snapped, okay, and Foyer's already going where he needs to go. And he literally almost runs over the other linebacker because the ball's going to the other linebacker's side, right? And so he passes the linebacker up almost completely, and then the other linebacker goes, oh, yeah, it's going to the left. And then he takes off, but then Foye's already passed him. I mean, that's how fast he is at diagnosing plays, and it's crazy to watch. And so you got two young linebackers, Branson Combs and Ventrell Miller. You want to get to the point where Foye is taking maybe only 2 steps in that direction, and then the other guy is already starting to go.
Those are the 2 starters who played last week, and those are the 2 starters who are going to play this week. I'd heard we could see the 2 of them on the field at the same time.
Ventrell
and Combs.
I think you could. I mean,
does Ventrell translate to Foye's backup?
Pretty much, because Jack Kaiser's out with an injury.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's the guy, and here's the reality: when you play the mic, things get a little louder at the mic position than it does the will position. And Branson Combs does better in space. Ventrell Miller does better when things get a little noisy, or in traffic, where you got to be physical. And Ventrell thumps guys when he goes downhill,
Yeah.
So I think he's more of a natural mic probably anyway.
Very much agree with Jeff on that as far as that's concerned. And that's a great situation to have where a guy like Ventrell has the ability to play Mike and Will, but has a lot of the Mike traits that Jeff just talked about. And, boy, like you said, I just love the ability, Foye's ability to key and diagnose. I mean, he is off the spot. We talk about how quick can you get off the spot, where they line up when they can key and diagnose and get downhill. Downhill meaning to the line of scrimmage. There's no wasted steps. Now, he's a productive player, one of the best in the league. Those other guys are learning from him, and it's going to take them a little time, but they're, I think, in the right lane right now.
And let me say this about Foye. I don't think he had a particularly strong start to camp. He needed this.
Yeah.
He needed this week, because the first, week or two is like, oh, okay, come on, let's get it going a little bit.
Let me redirect you guys back to Antonio Johnson for a minute. A year ago, he was a special teams guy and an edge of the roster guy. Today, you hear coaches say things like, what we want to do with Antonio, right? When they're talking about getting other safeties involved, because what we want to do, you hear the term dime linebacker. It's really remarkable what he's done in just a year's time.
And that's a credit to him and the coaches, because again, when I came aboard last year at this time, he was a good special teams guy and he's a great looking athlete and so forth. Well, now you're talking about, wow, what this guy can add and implement to the defense. He's going to give Anthony so many more options right now, just as you talked. A dime linebacker. He can pressure. He can cover. He's physical. You don't worry as much about putting in 6 DBs to stop the run if people opt to do that against your dime personnel, which is what dime is. It's 6 defensive backs, 1 linebacker, 4 down linemen likely. So I love what he brings, the versatility and his confidence right now. I heard him say after the scrimmage yesterday, the joint practice, we're coming downhill with bad intention. And he demonstrated that, and that's kind of a contagion that those guys in the back end have. I love it.
I remember when he came in as a rookie and was watching him and just on special teams, and I was like, wow, guy's got a skill set.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how does a guy like that kind of size, speed, range last until, 5th round?
Yeah.
I couldn't quite understand it. And then all of a sudden he had a pretty good year, and then he had a flunky year 2 years ago. I mean, it was a terrible year under Ryan Nielsen, but then we didn't really understand who Ryan Nielsen was, and now we do. So now you understand that a little bit more. And then how he rebounded last year, you got to give him a lot of credit, because it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of self-confidence to bounce back from the year like he had going back in 24. That's not easy to do.
No, and there are a lot of people who will get credit, rightfully so, or be tagged with, the identity of that defense. I'm just telling you, yesterday, it was Antonio Johnson. His energy level was off the charts. He was playing so hard and so fast, and people were rallying around him.
Well, and I give credit to Anthony Campanile, the defensive coordinator. And because, let's look at 2 guys that didn't exactly have exemplary years going back into 24.
Yeah.
Which was Devin Lloyd and Antonio Johnson.
And look at him now.
Okay, and Duff, what's the job of a coach? It's to put the player in the best position to use his skill set. Am I right?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Boy, and did they do that.
And that's exactly what they did with those two guys.
10 interceptions between the two of them.
And if
10.
If Anthony Campanile is not our defensive coordinator last year, I don't think those guys reached the heights of their abilities like they did, because here's the reality. Players can excel when they do what they do best. And the coaches, Campanile, made sure that those two guys, as much as he could possibly do it, were in a position to do what they do best.
And that's the job, just as you said, of coaches. I got to determine what are your strengths, and now how can we apply that to our defensive scheme? Not make the scheme fit the player, make the players, in other words, make sure that you take advantage of their strengths. And what you just talked about, he played fast. He's playing fast because he knows what he's doing. He's confident. They've instilled that in him. They've made it simple enough or made it where they're not thinking too much. That's how you can play fast.
All right, time for a timeout. Sorry,
I was just going to say that Campanile made Devin Lloyd a lot of money.
A lot of money.
And let me say this. He's about to make Antonio Johnson
a lot of money.
A lot of money, because I put Antonio Johnson and Parker Washington in the same tier.
That is high praise, my friend.
Two excellent players that are guys that you want to have as building blocks and you want to re-sign.
Somewhere in this building, Antonio Johnson is blushing right now at that high praise. We'll take a timeout and return. When we come back, we'll go back to the offense. You're listening to Jaguars Happy Hour on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, and Jaguars Radio.
It's here that a tiny newborn has the heart surgery needed to save her life. It's here that a first grader learns to speak clearly and confidently. It's here that a 12-year-old athlete builds the strength to run full speed again. It's here at Wolfson Children's Hospital that answers are found, courage is shown, and odds are beaten every day. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
The Jags have been putting in the work, and Butler Toyota Jacksonville has the proof. One teal practice cone, straight from the field, signed by the Jaguars players, and now it can be yours. Perfect for your fan cave. Enter the Jags at Work sweepstakes, presented by Butler Toyota Jacksonville, for your chance to win this one-of-a-kind autographed piece of Jaguars history. Go to jaguars.com/sweepstakes to learn more. Jags at Work sweepstakes, presented by Butler Toyota Jacksonville.
A bold change. A historic development is underway for the Bold City, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and team partners are part of it. The Jaguars' First and Forward Development Partner Program highlights the significant transformative efforts made towards the city of Jacksonville. Belter, Brooks Building Solutions, Jackson Electric Supply, People's Gas, Start Tech, Miller Electric, AECOM Hunt, and WWK, championing progress on the field and in the community. The First and Forward Program, the First Coast forward together. Visit jaguars.com/forward together.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 177, has been powering Jacksonville since 1912. Powering where we compete, where we're entertained, our bridges and highways, and where we live and work. IBEW 177 has been powering Jacksonville for more than a century and will continue long into the future. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 177, is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Frank Frangie here. When you think of barbecue in Jacksonville, it's got to be Bono's Pit Barbecue. For over 75 years, Bono's has been smoking Jacksonville's favorite barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So go to bonosbarbecue.com or call their fantastic catering department at 904-332-7427. That's 904-332-7427. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Big news, Jacksonville. Seabreeze Propane is now a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And to celebrate, meet Tank the Turtle, the Seabreeze mascot.
Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
Tank, you're a turtle.
Exactly. Nobody runs out the clock like me.
Let the Jags handle football. Seabreeze handles propane service and delivery for homes and businesses. New customers call Seabreeze and get $50 off your first propane delivery.
Now that's what I call a strong opening drive.
Seabreeze Propane. Slow mascot, fast delivery.
And welcome back. Jaguars Happy Hour on a Thursday afternoon in Jacksonville, Florida. And it's brought to you by PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jaguars. They have everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. We're going to talk quarterback, so why not hear from the quarterback? After practice yesterday, Trevor Lawrence spoke as he does weekly, so good with the media, and he offered his thoughts on the offense where they were post-Carolina joint practice day.
I'm not satisfied with necessarily where we're at, but where we're heading. I really believe that we're getting better. I think we were a lot better today than we were last week when we went against the Saints. I thought we had a lot more energy. We got after it. I thought just brought the juice every play. We ran it really good. We were really physical. So there was some big improvements, but football is there's such a fine line. There's so many details. So I think that there's going to be plenty on the tape to learn from. And I know, I need to get better. So it's not necessarily satisfied, but definitely believing, and I know that these guys, all our guys out here are getting better every day, and that's what we're working towards.
So, gentlemen, before we talk quarterbacks, allow me to tell you that the quarterback preview is brought to you by Seabreeze Propane. Seabreeze Propane, slow mascot, fast delivery. You love your thoughts on Trevor, to start things off, how he looked yesterday.
I thought it was one of his best days. I was so pleased for him. I mean, geez, I loved his confidence. When he took the field, he came. I could feel his energy. I could feel his confidence. You saw it in the way they would. I think we scored 5 out of 6 touchdowns in the red zone. I mean, his throwing, I think he wound up being, 12 for 19 maybe, and 4 touchdowns. I mean, but more than just the stats, you could just feel his confidence, the way he ran, that got him in and out of the huddle, the way he ran the ball club. I thought he had a heck of a day.
Now, I thought he was playing loose. And free, and that was really good to see. And I think the offensive line play helped him do some of that. And when he got down around the red zone, he was really sharp. He had one bad interception I thought was a misread, but he had command, and I thought it was a real strong outing for him. Good to see. The backup quarterbacks now.
Let's go, because that's who we're going to see tomorrow night.
We saw mostly Nick Mullins, and I think he's such a cerebral guy, I think is the way to term it.
That means smart, right?
He's smart guy.
University of Virginia.
He's not a Virginia guy. He's actually a Southern Miss guy, which, they're not known for their high level of education there in Mississippi, the whole state, to be honest with you.
Well, Duff, you're William & Mary, right?
I'm just joking.
I am.
That's a smart school, too.
Well, amen.
But, I think the reality is that you're very happy with Nick Mullins' mind and where he's at as a backup, because a lot of backups you got to be smart because you're not going to get the reps. That's the reality. But I think also part of that reality is that with Nick Mullins' arm, which is not the strongest in the world, I would say that 30% of the field is maybe closed just because of some of the limitations with his arm strength. And that's not to be mean. I mean, it's just. No, but and here's the reality: as a coach, you're going to know that.
Yep.
And so then you're going to cater things to stay away from some of those parts of the field that won't be open.
And that's what's so good about what you just said, because now when you look at the weapons that Nick will have to him right now, the running game, 12 personnel, 13 personnel, the offensive line and the running game are going to be critical to his success. Protecting him, getting the running game going so that the passing game, the short passing game, screen game, all those things will be at his command, if you will. So I think it's a really smart way that you presented that you're going to taper your attack based on the skills of the player.
So from a coaching perspective, right, fans will hear that a third of the field, as Jeff just mentioned, is probably off the table when you've got a guy like Nick Mullins. So why is he your guy?
Why is he my guy?
Yeah.
Because again, he's got the leadership, he's got the poise, he's got the, I think, confidence to move the team.
But how does he? I know they really value him for all the things he does that you wouldn't think that a player would do. That he can coach running backs, quarterbacks, tight ends. I mean, he can go and do that. As a coach, that's security blanket is probably not the right term, but you get what I'm saying. To have someone else who can help you allows you to do more things. Is that the case?
I think that's the case, absolutely. And I think the connection he's got with Grant Udinski, he's been with him before. They
were in Minnesota together.
Yeah, they understand each other. I think they're going to play off of one another. And if I'm Grant, having the guy, he's really like a coach on the field. And I think that's going to, again, that's part of how we can teach together and make everybody better.
Yeah, and when I say there's limitations as far as parts of the field that are open, I mean, every backup quarterback has limitations of some kind.
Right.
Is it parts of the field? Is it the amount of game plan you can put in? Is it the system itself that he's limited in? I mean, most guys are a backup for a reason, and the reality is that, look, if you lose your starter in this league,
you're in trouble.
You're screwed anyway.
I was going to say the exact same thing. You said something yesterday when we were talking that made a lot of sense. That's a position, backup quarterback, that you sign in February. You don't sign them in August.
No, well, I mean, you would sign a third, a guy that may be, for the third quarterback.
Yeah, but
position.
you're two.
For the backup, though, no. You want to have your backup that's completely immersed in the system. Now, that's not to say that if all of a sudden the Kansas City Chiefs cut Patrick Mahomes, you wouldn't sign him as a backup immediately right now.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No, but what you said earlier is dead on. He's not going to get the reps. So you've got a guy that's been there, who is smart, who can take mental reps and translate them as best as possible. And let me say this to you about Nick Mullen. I've coached against him in this league. He is a competitive sucker, and he's won ball games. I like having a guy in the bullpen that's done that.
Yeah, he started 8 games in 18 for San Francisco.
Absolutely, and won.
Or I'm sorry, 2020. That was COVID.
Well, he's won, and I like the competitiveness. I didn't know who he was except competing against him, but I like the fact how competitive I felt about him at that time. And now coupled with the fact his familiarity with the coaches, I think it makes it a good situation.
What does success look like for Carter Bradley tomorrow night?
Just continue to grow, to start out looking like he did in the second half from the beginning that he steps on the field. And so it took him a little while to kind of get going, but there were a couple throws in that game that Carter Bradley made that Nick Mullins wishes he could throw.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
Carter can really sling it.
I'm not trying to be critical, but then there's also decision-making in reads that Carter Bradley wished that he could make that Nick Mullins is making. So I mean, there's, you kind of have that with the quarterbacks, right?
The experience he got against New Orleans, I mean, adversity was all around. We had offensive linemen go down, Chuma goes down, and we're behind, all this kind of stuff. And to move and have the second half that he had, the ball he threw to Pena in the end zone that was right on the button that Pena dropped was a heck of a throw. And I just like the fact that he didn't panic. Things were looking a little shaky. They got settled down. We scored 18 points. He helped, lead that through. So all of it turns into a good thing.
Yeah, the one thing that we really haven't seen with Carter Bradley is he's pretty athletic. I remember going back to last year, the playoff game, getting ready for the Buffalo Bills, and they're trying to get ready for Josh Allen. And who's the guy that's simulating Josh Allen? Carter Bradley. And gave him a great look in practice. I mean, because he has that type of athleticism. So, and it's something his dad didn't have, and obviously got it from his mother.
You're playing right to the audience.
So, no, what I heard from Jeff last year during the season was, hey, you ought to see, Bradley's making some plays and really helping the defense as a look offense quarterback.
He can really throw it.
Well, yeah, and when you have a guy like that in a practice plan to help prepare week to week, just as he said, simulating Josh Allen, that's helpful as heck.
Listen, if you watched the game last week or listened, you saw the running game take over in the second half. And Liam has said it 2 or 3 different times this week, we got the running game going. So by your estimation, because you guys know what it was at the end of last year, is it on track to be what they expect it to be? Did you see that yesterday against Carolina?
Yeah, I think, and especially with some of the offensive line
slowed it down a bit.
Things we're starting to see right now. Yeah. I'm hopeful that it can be maintained like it was at the beginning of last year. And the reality is at the beginning of last year you did it more out of need because I don't think there was a belief that the quarterback was ready to be unleashed. And then once he became unleashed, the quality of the running game fell off. It would be great if the quarterback is hitting the ground rolling and your running game is what it was at the beginning of last year, and then you stay committed to it, then it makes it really easy on a quarterback. So I think, and I believe that's Liam's talked about it extensively about being a football team that can run it when they want to run it, and it'll make it better.
Run it when they have to run it. When we're ahead 4-minute drill. We got to run this game out. In other words, we're ahead. We're going to not give the ball back, so we're going to be able to run and sustain drives and run out the clock. So I think that's what I think is really good. And I think the running game, I love his focus on the run game because, again, a lot of teams are going to try to, with our receivers and our weapons, our tight ends, try to play a 2-deep shell and mix cover 4 or cover 2, whatever you want. Well, we got to now run on those things to get that safety back in the box. Then we're going to get the matchups, the one-on-ones on our receivers that are going to put that defense in stress.
And here's another reason why you want to run it. There's a team in Houston that's pretty good.
Oh,
okay?
Yes.
And going out there and trying to throw the ball around the yard against those guys, it ain't going to work.
You better be able to run it.
If that's all you can do, you better find a way to be able to run it against that team.
All right. One thought from yesterday that I saw from the running game was Chris Rodriguez was gassed at the end of practice. You suppose that's going to be his? Well, not that he's not in great shape, but you get what I mean. They're going to use it.
It was so hot, and I was kind of glad that it was actually cooler in New Orleans than it was yesterday in practice. I thought.
You may be right.
And in New Orleans, there was 90 reps for the offense, 90 reps for the defense, and yesterday there were about 60 reps for the offense and about 60 for the defense. And there was a couple times in the joint practice to where the coaches had to holler over and say, hey, get those guys out of the ice box.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a trailer that they have on the fields, and a lot of fans don't know. It's like a cooler. It's got super cold air in there, and the players can go in there, cool off. And
I heard you tried to get in there at one point.
I was actually considering watching the second part of the offensive practice from inside there because they do have some nice windows.
Yeah, you're going to use your shirt to try and create a hole for that?
I had a shady spot over there.
You found the shade.
Which, by the way, I don't know if we've talked about this. They've got a really cool thing, and I want to get your thoughts on this stuff. On the practice field this year, they have something new, and it's a big, giant TV screen. And when a play is run, right after it happens, it literally, you can look up to the board and you're watching film of the previous play almost immediately after the conclusion of the play. From a coaching and a player standpoint, the two of those working together, that's got to be a phenomenal coaching tool.
It's a fantastic tool. And I watch their players. As soon as that play's over, I see eyes and heads turning, coaches and players looking at that play, seeing it again. You can see what went well, what didn't go well. It's the best teaching tool you can have when it's right in your mind. I think it's tremendous. I wish like the heck I had that along the way.
The only problem you would have was you couldn't have seen it from the cooling zone.
Well, I was actually in the shade of that big TV.
So you didn't see it anyway.
So I never watched it yesterday because I knew that I was going to be watching the film later on. But, I mean, for teaching. Getting better, I think it's brilliant to have something like that because I remember there was a moment in practice going back into training camp a little bit. One of the defensive backs was kind of complaining about a interference call. And he was kind of venting to Liam a little bit, and Liam said a couple things to him, then he pointed at the screen. Said,
it's right there.
Okay. Film doesn't lie, right? Yeah. I mean, now the TV screen doesn't lie. I think it's a phenomenal teaching tool. I mean, so now you can actually teach right then and there, and the players can see it right then and there. Yeah. And then later on, you can also have time to watch the film and even go in further depth. But for the immediacy of it, it's a tremendous tool.
All right, let's take our final break for hour number 1, Jaguars Happy Hour. Brian Sexton sitting in with head coach. You're the head coach now.
He wasn't
Mark
Maryland.
Duffner. Yeah, he was. You're a coach. And, of course, everybody knows Lage. So we'll take this break.
And he's our head coach.
You are right now.
In here.
It's a promotion, Duff, without a pay raise. When we come back, players to watch. We got all that and more right after this on Jags Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
The
The Jags have been putting in the work, and Butler Toyota Jacksonville has the proof. One teal practice cone, straight from the field, signed by the Jaguars players, and now it can be yours. Perfect for your fan cave. Enter the Jags at Work sweepstakes, presented by Butler Toyota Jacksonville, for your chance to win this one-of-a-kind autographed piece of Jaguars history. Go to jaguars.com/sweepstakes to learn more. Jags at Work sweepstakes, presented by Butler Toyota Jacksonville.
Jaguars fans, grab your passport. Open and fund a new Everbank performance account for your chance to win the Everbank London Getaway Experience. Round trip airfare for two, hotel accommodations, and tickets to the Jaguars game in London this October. Start your journey today at everbank.com/London. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents in the United States and DC 18 and older. The Everbank London Getaway Sweepstakes from June 29 through August 27. For official rules, which include alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London rules. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank, NA, member FDIC.
What's here is a place that generations have trusted to help their kids grow up healthy and strong. What's here are caregivers with knowledge and expertise rivaling any children's hospital in the world. What's here is the only Level 1 pediatric trauma center in our region. What's here is Wolfson Children's Hospital, with the technology, research, and dedication to save and change countless young lives. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Hey Jaguars fans, are you ready for your next adventure? Then it's time to visit Ride Now Jacksonville and Ride Now Beach Boulevard. From motorcycles and side-by-sides to ATVs, boats, and personal watercraft, Ride Now has everything you need for the road, trail, and water. With top brands, great financing options, and a huge selection of parts, apparel, and accessories, there's never been a better time to ride. Visit Ride Now Jacksonville or Ride Now Beach Boulevard today and start your next adventure with Ride Now Power Sports. Watch the game, host your crew, or just unwind at BC Grill and Patio at Sheridan Jacksonville, part of the Marriott family of hotels. Enjoy craft cocktails, tasty bites, and indoor-outdoor seating perfect for watch parties, happy hours, and events. Mention this radio ad for 10% off food and drinks. Visit SheridanJacksonville.com or call 904-564-4772.
Is your organization ready to tackle its toughest challenges? For more than 30 years, CSI Companies has partnered with healthcare and technology organizations nationwide. From consulting on strategic projects to staff augmentation and workforce solutions, they help organizations navigate complex challenges with confidence. Learn more at CSICompanies.com. That's CSICompanies.com.
We are back for the tail end of Happy Hour. At the top of the hour, we switch gears and go to Jags HQ, and Tony Boselli will join us right here in the Hyundai Studios. How about Mr. Chubby's Wings? I don't have them for you, but Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game, is our proud partner to present players to watch.
You know, they always have been really gracious about bringing us wings at halftime of the games, and I hope that the stadium construction does not interfere with our groove at halftime, because I just want Mr. Chubby's to understand that that's part of the reason we won 13 games.
If you can get to the booth, so can they, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Let's make
and it's imperative to the success of the organization on game day.
Well, the television booth is just 2 doors down. So
Absolutely.
You can stop there as well, which brings us to the point that this broadcast tomorrow night on radio starts at 4:30 with the Publix Tailgate Show, followed by Countdown to Kickoff, and then 7:30 kickoff. And we'll, of course, have the television broadcast on Fox 30 at 7:30 as well. Did you write that down?
I have.
Although you're going to be here.
Yeah, I will be.
We'll
Yes,
all be excited. And Mr. Chubby's can find you in the press box.
I think he's had a hard time finding me up to this point, so hopefully he'll do it tomorrow.
All right, how about players to watch? Why don't we start with the tight ends? Because those were two guys that Liam talked extensively about after practice yesterday. Different types of players, but both of them are really promising.
Well, I like them, and here's what I like. Yesterday, there were some really tough catches that they made. In particular, Colziol had one where he had 3 guys on him. And Nick Mullins threw it in there and somehow got it in there and he caught it. This was like something that you would have expected from a Jacoby Myers. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not joking now. I mean, that's a Jacoby Myers type of catch.
By the way,
it was Koziel.
Grant Udinski called him a garage door. I said, garage door? He goes, just throw the ball at the garage door. You can't miss it.
Well, here, what I like, too, I saw that catch, and he made another catch where he got a little catch and run, and the safety from Carolina showed up, and he ran him over. I mean, he freaking put his shoulder down and ran over the guy. And I'm going, woo-wee. I mean, that was big time.
He led the country among all tight ends last year with 74 catches, and he had 727 receiving yards, which was second.
Yeah.
I went up to him after the practice and just say, hey, pal, I love that catch, and I love that physicality after the catch.
And, Jeff, something you said just resonates when I look at him. He is a willing blocker. Liam has said it. You didn't see him do a lot of that, and why would you at Houston when he's that long and catches that many passes? But he wants to prove that he can do it.
Well, and he's got some work to do, and I think he's got a really good coach in Richard Angulo, who's the tight ends coach, to be able to accomplish that, because he's very willing. But his technique, it's something that needs to be improved. A lot of times he's a little over-aggressive and goes in with a narrow base and doesn't come in under control. And so some of those things are very fixable. But the one thing that you can't fix, if the willingness is not there, it's hard to put the fight in the dog. You know, and that's the one thing that I appreciate about Koziel is that he has it. And he wants to, and he's willing, and he's not willing to back away from anybody. But he doesn't have the polished technique or anything like Borkershire has. And let me just add this, Borkershire had that one grab in the end zone. His hands, and when the ball's gone his way, he's making every catch. And there's a lot of times he's open where I'm going, throw it to that guy. 87, he's open. And I think that will come in time. And just last thing with tight ends. Those two guys are going to allow 85, Bretton Strange, to do a lot of really fun things with Trevor in the passing game.
Absolutely. I think they give such versatility, what Jeff's saying right now, for unleashing Strange, but also the wide receivers. But when you look at the length that those two guys' height and the ability to go up and pluck the ball, give the quarterback, especially in the red zone, I love it.
We have about 2.5 minutes. How about a thought on the Sam position at linebacker? We didn't talk about that earlier. There's three guys competing for maybe two jobs, right? I mean, you've got Dennis Gardeck, and then Yasir Abdullah, who Jeff has extolled the virtues of on special teams, and we haven't seen Rashawn McLeod, last year's draft choice.
Well, first of all, I want to compliment this man, Jeff, in terms of he looks at special teams and he's able to see players, guys that are productive players, and project them into the defensive role or offensive role. He's got a great eye for talent, so I want to start off with that. But Gardeck right now is having a heck of a camp. He's showing up a lot in pressure, whether it be off the edge or interior. And he had an interception the day before on a tip pass that he got and scored on in practice. So he's showing up actively in that Sam position. And then Abdullah, the game he had the other day, he went down and had a tremendous kickoff tackle. Again, quantifying his special teams expertise. But then a couple guys, Wesley Williams too, got involved in pressure. He gets the big sack fumble in the game, a critical thing, gives field position on, I think, the 8-yard line. Awesome stuff. So I think we've got a pretty good combination of two players right now competing for that spot. I like to see McLeod in there because I've seen some things that I think he can add too. So we'll see how it comes out.
It's the old saying, you can't make the club in the tub. And McLeod's been in the tub all of last year, and then this year in and out of it. I mean, and that's not criticizing him at all. I mean, injuries happen.
Yeah, can't stay healthy.
But and Gardeck gives you, I think, positional versatility because he can do some edge rushing. He can play Sam in a pinch. I guarantee he could probably move to one of the inside linebacking positions. But and I think Jalen McLeod has some positional versatility too, the ability to edge rush and all that kind of stuff. He just can't stay healthy. And Yasir Abdullah, he's a 53-man roster guy just because of his ability on special teams. If it's not here, it'll be somewhere else.
That I agree with. I think right now the rest of the league, those special teams guys are talking about him right now, should he show up on the wire. But Gardeck, like Coach talked about, I mean, they're able to utilize the DBs in this dime package that they've got, which I really love in terms of the matches they can get, and get him in the ball game, move Trayvon down inside where he can be a 3 technique, put Gardick outside where he's got – I've heard the players talk about his suddenness, his ability to win at the top of the rush, his get-off. So, valuable player for us.
Did you say everything you need to say? Because Boselli's about to come charging through that door.
When he does, I'm going to charge right out, too. That's all good.
All right, here we go. Jaguars and Panthers tomorrow night. 4:30 for the Publix Tailgate Show, 7:30 kickoff. Jeff and Frank will have that broadcast. Bucky Brooks and I will be on Fox 30. And then Mark Duffner will be right here for the postgame show, trying to keep Mike Dempsey in line. Good luck to you, sir.
No, Mike does a terrific job. I'm trying to learn from him. He's awesome. Does a
Just
great
like
job.
that, Mr. Boselli has made his way into the room, and we will take this quick 10-second or so pause and pick up Jags Happy Hour with Jags HQ.
Welcome to Jags HQ. Brian Sexton and former Jaguar Jeff Lageman sit down each week with the decision makers of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
We're going to bring you a product that you all can be proud of. With that, game on.
Jags HQ starts right now.
All right, here we go. Jags HQ. Tony Boselli is in the Hyundai Studios along with Jeff Lageman. I'm Brian Sexton, and we're thrilled to have you. Preseason action tomorrow night.
Let's go.
Right here at Everbank Stadium. Have you been over? They did a media tour today. I didn't get a chance to get over there and walk it yet.
I've been over there.
And your thoughts?
I think it's going to be a great fan experience. I think it's be intimate. I think it has a chance to be really special. I think the team did a great job of getting it ready. Give a lot of credit to Mark Lamping, Chad Johnson, and their crew of making sure the stadium was where it needed to be to play an NFL game. The grass looks great.
By the way, kudos to your grounds crew, man. Field looks great.
First of all, it's funny because you don't appreciate what you have a lot of times until you go somewhere else. We have one of the best facilities in the NFL, and that's a big thanks to Shad. We have one of the best grounds crew around. And what they do with our field on a daily basis to make sure, because that thing takes it took some heat. I'm talking practice field now. Yeah. We'll get to the game in a second, and game field. But that takes a lot of wear and tear. You got a bunch of guys going, and the amount of force that goes into. And if you're ever here, now nobody sees it because everyone goes home, except for us who are here. And my office looks right outside, and I watch these guys. Immediately when practice is over, it's cleared out. We have a team of individuals going through and fixing divots and repairing the field.
They're out there during practice too, man.
Because they're out there during practice watching how the field is playing. We have meetings on a regular basis talking about the field condition, what we want to do. Is it too soft, too firm, blah, 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 whatever. And that team's led by Jeff DeLuca, who's been here a long time. I know you know him, Jeff, and Brian. Yep. Is an outstanding leader he runs the entire facilities here and has several other responsibilities, and what his team does makes it, you just appreciate. You go to other places, like, okay, nothing wrong with those other places, but the first class facility or field that we get to practice on, because that's what, we talk about the most important thing in this organization is what happens on the grass. Well, if you believe that, you better have good grass. Right. you better have some good grass. And then you go over to the field. Last year, you go around you play in all different states. We have one of the best natural surfaces in the entire NFL. It is really first class. And we actually
keep it that way?
We're not going to get into that right now. That's
a hint, Loggy?
Yeah, I know where you're going. Let's stay where we are now, current. I'll say this, regardless of whatever the surface ends up being in 2028, I will promise you this: we will have the best surface of the whatever decisions made, and there's a lot going into that. We'll have the best surface. There'll be no expense. That is expense and
money won't matter.
We're going to make sure it is the best for our for the stadium, for the facility. We will make sure we invest in that We have one of the greatest owners in professional sports who wants to make sure things are done right. But you look at that playing field last year, and then you go over there today and right now and what they've done, and it's first class. So that's a long way of saying that I think it's going to be a great environment. The locker rooms, the training facility, everything ready. There's some minor changes in the hallway of how we'll get on the field. Nothing that will impact anybody. Nothing that our fans will even notice or see.
How did they do it? Because, Tony, going back a couple months ago, there's cranes in the stadium. There is no field. There's nothing but equipment.
There was a portalet at the 50-yard line.
Well, there's a heavy-duty crane in the middle of the field that they had to move out of there to lay the grass down. Listen, the way they engineer and stage
it's well planned.
Is planned daily for the next, what is it, 2.5, 3-year project?
Yep.
Yeah.
Every day's planned. Milestones need to be hit. You have to have contingency plans. We had some major rain, as everyone knows, the other day. That reveals some things. Okay, we got to patch some things up.
The stadium leaked when it was brand new.
That's right, and so there's
not under construction.
Kudos to everybody though that
they've
has
done a
had
great
a
job.
part in that.
And I think it was, it was before we went on break, so it had to be
late June.
Late June, I think it was. I can't remember. Was it late June or was it when we got back? I think it was late June. Jeff DeLucas met James and I here at 5 a.m.
This is the light test?
The light test. And went out there, tested the lights, because our lights are no longer on the top of the stadium because they're building the roof there. They are now in the upper deck. And so put them in one time. Thought we needed to be a little higher. Went out, been tested. They did a great job. And I think the coordination between Mark Lamping and his team and us in the football, because if you think about what Mark and his team are trying to do, they're thinking about the whole picture. Fan engagement, fan engagement / experience, a construction project, making sure we're hitting the time frame because it needs to be ready. At the same time, worrying about getting a stadium ready in Orlando for us in 2027. I mean, it is a lot on everyone's plate. At the same time, and this is what we strive for in this organization is elite communication, working together. We're one team. There's not two organizations. It's not the business and the football. We are one organization with different responsibilities within that organization. And what we really appreciate, myself, James, and Liam, is the coordination of working with us to make sure that as a football team, everything is being done to make sure we can go out and do our jobs as well. And that goes for how the stadium is, where the lights are, thinking through the nuances as you're trying to manage this gigantic, a 1.3 or 4, whatever the billion-dollar project is. That by itself. Now you have to work with a bunch of idiots over there thinking about how to win football games.
Is he pointing at you?
Well, he's one of the idiots.
No, he's pointing at himself.
I'm pointing at myself, but he would be included as an idiot playing football. And we're not thinking about that. We're thinking about how do we win football games, because that's our job.
Right.
And the coordination of working together, and that goes all the way to what we're going to be doing in 2027 with Orlando and the coordination of that. So it's a massive project. It's a lot of time. People that are never going to get any credit, that are behind the scenes, that make it possible. And I think when our fans come Friday night, tomorrow night, to watch the preseason game, and throughout the season, while the outside will look like a construction zone, there are cranes that are going to be there. They will be working throughout the week to get our stadium ready for 2028. And everyone says, man, that's a sacrifice. It's a small sacrifice to what we're going to have in 2028. Nothing in life comes without some sacrifice.
You can't live too comfortably.
You can't, and so let's just embrace it. And I think when our fans come, 42,000 and change, you are going to be on top of the field. It is going to be a great environment, and it's our job now. And so Mark and that team have done their job getting us to this point. Now it is our job to go out and win football games and put a great product on the field, and everything's right there for us. So, don't drive by Everbank and say, man, it's a construction zone. Are they open for business? We are open for business, and you will find out Friday night against the Carolina Panthers, the first preseason game here. It's going to be an amazing experience. There might be a little bit of dust. You might have to walk around some stuff.
That's okay.
You don't need to bring a hard hat. You don't need that. But guess what? When we walk into that stadium in 2028, You could be one of the 42,000 people that says, you know what? I was there watching that team win football games when they were building it, and now I'm here in 2028 with one of the best stadiums in the NFL.
You know, you bring up hard hats. It takes me back to 1995, and we had to wear hard hats in and out of the stadium.
It's awesome.
Just to get out to be able
to
do exercises and practice.
You guys, like me, were here when it was built, when the trailers filled that entire parking lot, and now to see the reimagination of it, I know 2028, from my perspective, is going to be emotional to see something new.
It's going to be. Remember in 1995 with 4 preseason game all on the road. Yeah. They were scrambling to get ready for the home opener here.
How many preseason games?
5. Thank you. I didn't play in any of them.
5.
I played in absolutely zero.
Home for the first one.
Oh, that's right. We did play one
against St. Louis. No, played 2, and then the Broncos were here.
Were the Broncos here that year?
Yeah, we played both of them.
Yeah,
I know they were scrambling.
You just forgot because you weren't doing.
I just remember the scramble to make sure it was ready for that first.
Oh, listen, there were pieces of plywood covering gaps in the wall where they were still working on things. It was crazy. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk some ball.
Yeah,
sound good?
Yep.
Tony Boselli's here. This is Jags HQ with Jeff Lageman and Tony Boselli, and you're listening on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Back before Brian had a granddaughter to help take care of, back when he was in his 20s, Brian served in the Army Special Forces and sustained brain injuries during a tour overseas. Today, Brian participates in the Haley Brain Wellness Program at UF Health, a program that helps veterans and first responders recover from traumatic brain injury. Brian was proud to serve his country, and now we're proud to serve him. UF Health. Human progress has no finish line.
Jaguars fans, grab your passport. Open and fund a new Everbank performance account for your chance to win the Everbank London Getaway Experience. Round-trip airfare for 2, hotel accommodations, and tickets to the Jaguars game in London this October. Start your journey today at everbank.com/London. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. The Everbank London Getaway Sweepstakes from June 29 through August 27. For official rules, which include alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London rules. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank, N.A., member FDIC.
Ever see people move an umbrella at a tailgate to cover the beer coolers? Or fill their only sink in a hotel room with ice? It's actually kind of crazy the lengths people will go to make sure their beer is ice cold. But no matter what people do, one thing is pretty clear. Because it's not a beer unless it's a cold beer. That's why the Coors Light Mountains turn blue, to tell you when your beer is as cold as the Rockies. Celebrate responsibly. 2026 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Beer.
Looking for more than just another electrical job? At Miller Electric, you work on some of the most exciting and complex projects in the Southeast alongside a team that invests in your success. For more than 98 years, we built a reputation for doing great work while taking care of our people with competitive pay, outstanding benefits, career development opportunities, and a culture built on respect. If you're ready to build something bigger, there's a place for you at Miller Electric. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Welcome back. Jags HQ continues right now.
But tomorrow night's game against the Carolina Panthers here at Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville is presented by our friends at Ticketmaster. They are the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So where to even begin? News today. Cole Van Lanen comes off the PUP list. You made the trade yesterday for Daniel Fa'alele.
Sounds good to me.
All right, good.
Don't ask him.
Sounds good to me.
I did say that in a TV production meeting earlier today. I said, well, Boselli said it was this. They go, oh, have you heard Boselli say this name? And I went, I didn't realize it was a problem.
Oh, no, I famously wait till like right before the game and practice. Like, okay, tell me how we say this name, because if I try to remember, I need it right before we go on air, and then I'll about 85 to 90%, I'll get it right. But there'll be those 10 to 15%. No matter how many times you tell me, I'm not getting it right.
So you got Cole back. Wait, he's back. He's off PUP.
Yeah, off PUP.
You bring in Fa'alele, and then the emergence of Pregnon. All of a sudden, there's some rays of light around this offensive line. And I think most people had looked like they were dark clouds.
Yeah, I think people, listen, was there tough moments as far as getting through camp and practicing? All these injuries, outside of McCary, who, I'm not going to get into the timeline, but what was reported is he had a back procedure. He's going to be out for all of camp. We have a decision to make at cut down time of whether we put him on IR or not, like a couple players. But those decisions typically mean, so everyone understands, if you're put on IR to return, you can't return to the 4th week. So simple math. Are they going to get back before the 4th week or after the 4th week? And so outside of McCary, that is what it is. That will take its own course. And obviously we were counting on Patrick to be a part of this offensive line. The rest of these injuries were the nature of a week here, 2 weeks there. And so when you're working through it in practice and camp, it's hard. I mean, the other day we had a practice where we ran the ones and managed the reps of the entire rest of the group because we had to. That's how we had to do to get through. All the twos played like 70 snaps or 65. How many snaps were in that game against New Orleans? Mm-hmm. But also we were purposeful in the joint how we do that. The ones took the majority of the reps. And so this is all part of a plan of planning and calculating of how many reps do you want your guys to get. And so, I think on the outside there was, this doom and gloom. Oh my gosh, are they going to have an offensive line when they start in Cleveland? Inside, we're saying, okay, we got to manage this properly so we get ready for week 1 and making sure we have our best 5 and have the same opportunity, though, to identify who are those best 5 when we want to kick it off against Cleveland. So signing Daniel Boselli we thought it was the right thing to do. It gives us more depth. He's I think we want to be a big, powerful run.
Oh, he's that.
He's a big man. He can move people. Started for 2 straight years at the Baltimore Ravens, one of the best run teams in the NFL. So he's a big, powerful man. The Giants had drafted a guy 10th overall. Who was a tackle of Miami, but he's really a guard in the NFL, so he won that job. So it was a perfect opportunity for us to take advantage. Last year at this time, we did something similar with Tim Patrick in Detroit. They had a situation. They drafted guys. That doesn't mean that not still a good player, but we felt like Tim Patrick last year, and I think everyone saw how he helped us during the regular season. It's an opportunity to get better. And this is what James does such an outstanding job at, is in our personnel department, constantly looking out there and understanding what's available, what are the opportunities, and how can we continue to get better. A mistake would think coming into camp, your team's your team until you cut down, and maybe you try to do something to cut downs. Well, number one, we're going to be pretty low on the claim order because of last year's record. At the same time, there are multiple opportunities to improve your team throughout the season up till the trade deadline. We will use every one of those opportunities to try to get better, and we felt like it did. That combined with Cole getting off the PUP list, he now can participate in practice. We will still – that doesn't mean he's getting thrown in there, but now we can start preparing him because this is a guy that didn't participate all of the offseason, hasn't done anything in camp outside of work his tail off to get back to this point, and looks great in what he can do off to the side in rehab. And so now it's an opportunity to get the pads on him to feel. Jeff can remember this. I remember it too fondly, unfortunately. You come off an ACL and you're doing all your rehab. You feel pretty good. And you're like, man, I'm ready to go. Then you put pads on and get hit for the first time. And you're like,
a little different.
Oh, my. I'm not ready yet. I got some work to do. So that's the next step for Colin. And the way he's approached it so far, very confident he's going to do just fine. And looking forward to having him back out there. I know he's excited to get back out there with the guys, be a part of it. He's obviously been in all the meetings. He's one of the smartest offensive linemen we have, proven by last year starting at 4 different positions throughout the year. So we're excited to have Cole back, and we're excited about the group. And I think if you go back to that Carolina joint, the 5 guys that we had in there, left to right, Anton, Pregnon, Hainsey, Ezra, and Walker Little coming back. He was one of those guys, missed 10 days because of an ankle. Came back, man, we have a great training staff, medical staff, great performance science. Our strength coach works in there with Eric Ciano. Came back full go, and that group had a awesome practice. They were dominant. They were physical. Were they perfect? By no means. Right. No, I've never been a part of offensive line that had a perfect game or perfect practice. There's stuff to clean up. We can get better. But they did what we want. They showed up who we want to be as a football team that's tough, physical, and getting after people, and they did a heck of a job.
If I was an alien and I knew football, but I didn't know any football here in the United States, and I just came down here and I watched some of the game film and practice film of your team, I'd say Emmanuel Pregnon was your best offensive lineman and watched him practice so far. He's been so good and so consistent. And let me also throw some credit to Ezra, because Ezra moved to the right side. He's had his best week of practice yet in training camp.
So I would argue on what day is it? Yesterday, I guess. Every day goes together. When we played the joint against Carolina yesterday, I think all 5 were outstanding. We'll talk about Pregnon in a second. I think Ezra was probably the best offensive lineman on either field. The way he played and the physicality yesterday and the finish and just the violence, the toughness. I thought it was one of Walker Little's best practices at right tackle. You know, he played left tackle last year.
Against a good player, too, in Jalen Phillips.
Very good player. When I talk about zero pressure, zero leakage, physical in the run game, he had a very good day. You know, Hainsey, veteran, you can feel him coming, his leadership. Outside of the last play of a team period before the 2-minute where Anton got laid off the snap because he didn't hear the snap count, he had an outstanding day. And so those are the 4 veterans. We'll talk about Pregnon in a second. And none of them were perfect, but what they were more physical than our opponent. And we talk about this a lot when you talk about offensive line play. Being more physical, more violent, tougher both physically and mentally, covers up for a lot of sins. It covers up a lot. If you're just nastier and tougher and more determined and just say, I'm going to get the last touch, that covers up a lot of things in this league. And that's what that group did. And talking about Pregnon.
Can I get you to hold on that?
Yeah.
We got to get a break in.
Yeah, sure.
I got one more segment with you, right?
Yeah.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk about the rookie left guard from Oregon, Emmanuel Pregnon. This is Jags HQ with Tony Boselli and Jeff Lageman, and you're listening on Jaguars Radio.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nationally ranked by U.S. News and World Report. Our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Hey Jaguar fans, get next level performance with Renewal by Andersen Replacement Windows and Doors. Right now, score 20% off your custom window and door replacement project, plus 12 months special financing. Defend your home against Florida weather with our Acclaim Impact Windows, built for the storm, backed by the Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free design consultation and put a winning team on your side. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game. NFL fans, when it's time to get Jaguars tickets, you can tackle game day with total certainty with Ticketmaster. With 100% verified tickets available all season long, you can count on getting in with ease and spend time focusing on the good stuff. Even if you're headed to the game last minute, you can still score seats. Want to meet up inside the stadium with your crew? Transferring your tickets is an easy handoff. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Welcome back. Jags HQ continues right now.
Welcome back, Jags HQ. Tony Boselli, Jeff Lageman here. We promised when we went to break that we'd come back and talk about Emmanuel Pregnon, a guy that Jeff says if he was an alien, sometimes we wonder.
He might be.
Yeah, sometimes we wonder. He would think he was your best offensive lineman. Tony, I stopped you before the break. Go.
I'm not going to get into who's the best because I think that's the wrong conversation when you talk about offensive line. Really what you're trying to figure out who's your best 5 that work together. Because having one great offensive lineman You could have the greatest human playing offensive lineman. If you have 4 stiffs that can't do anything, you're not going to have success.
Right.
And so it's really can you put together an engineer group that works together and complements each other to do what you want to do. And I think Emmanuel's had a very good camp, and he is a guy who cares a lot about being very good at what he does, and that's playing football. For a young guy, he is learning how to take care of his body. He had coming in. He had a very good process of how he learns and how he digests the information to make sure that he is performing at a high level. And then the third thing that none of us can coach and none of us can do anything about, he was built in a way that is just different.
Yeah.
He has a strength and a power and the size to move another human against their will.
So
I don't know how else, I don't know how else to say it, but he has that gift.
So let me just jump in real quick there, because we were doing Liam for a Sirius XM satellite radio show the other day, and he called him E-Man.
E-Man.
Which is Emmanuel, E-M-A-N. Yeah. And the first thing, what I heard instead of Emmanuel E-Man was He-Man.
He might have some of those tendencies as well.
Remember?
It was a movie this summer.
I mean, it was like a cartoon.
Yeah, growing up, it was a cartoon.
He-Man, right? I mean, that's a perfect name for him, E-Man.
And I think he's still learning. And it was great. He had a rep. He had a lot of really good reps, but he had a rep against Derek Brown, an all-pro defensive tackle, and Derek kind of shed him at the end. Mm-hmm. It's a great learning of how to use leverage, and because now you're blocking another man who's just as strong and as big as you. So how do you use leverage? So you just can't overpower every single person just by pure strength. You have to understand leverage and angles, and he's learning all that as expected. But what he does have is he's high care factor. He's very competitive, and he's tough and strong and physical. And the other thing is in pass protection, because of his length and his size and his hand strength, when he gets his hands on you, it's over.
Totally.
The rep is over. There's nothing left to do. So if you don't now, perfect example, we saw he started running the ones. We do a lot of one-on-one in camp. He had a rep where he had to kick out to Josh Hines-Allen. Well, Josh is a savvy vet. He's like, I'm not going to go right down the middle of this guy. He hand swiped him, got the edge, and would have got a sack. That's a great learning experience for E-Man. Hey, understand who you're playing against. Understand their thinking. They understand you as well. Maybe you could have late hands because you're so strong. You don't have to show first. And these are all little things that he will continue to learn. But we're really excited about him and what he's doing. And I think more than anything is his approach, how important it is. Because at the end of the day, our coaches can coach him up. And our coaches are detailed, and they work a lot of hours, and they prepare, and they meet one-on-one with these players. But the reality is, you have to have guys who care, who want to be good. Yeah. And E-Man has shown up so far and done a great job. And he's going to have his ups and downs as a rookie. We all do. I did. You get into the NFL, you learn. Guys that you play against are vets, and they have tricks of the trade that you just haven't seen yet. And you kind of figure it out as you go, and you have good vets on your team, and we have good vets that he's going to go against, like Eric Armstead and Matt Dickerson and Trayvon, who reduces to a 3, and he's seeing a lot of different things right now. Well, that volume of learning is just going to continue as we play different players and different teams, and he's in different situations. But we have a lot of confidence, and right now he's competing to be one of the best 5, and he's doing a great job.
Yeah, he's fun to watch just because he finishes really well.
Well, if you want to watch a guy maybe people don't enjoy this, but I enjoy watching another human impose their will and move somebody where they don't want to go.
Yeah. He got 2 KOs.
I mean, that's just fun. I mean, that is enjoyable film watching.
He got 2 KOs in the past game against the Saints too. He had one on a kick out where he just buried the linebacker.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And then his left tackle to his left, I don't remember.
Jerron Christian.
Christian's blocking a guy, and he kind of helps with the center on the defensive tackle, and then sees this guy starting to show up to the inside of Christian, and he just turns around and just blows him up.
Yeah, I mean, he loves football. He loves football. So I mean, I think a lot of our guys, our young players, are all of them are really progressing and going through the bumps and bruises and I say grind of camp. I feel like weird saying that because the grind is so much different than it used to be, but it's still, you're in camp.
Still a grind.
It's still a grind. You're still working against the same guys. You're still being taxed mentally at a high level of all the install and all the volume of stuff that is coming at you, especially for a new guy that's different. And you're learning how to play against these grown men that, have been doing it for a long time. So it's a learning experience, and our guys are doing a good job.
I know you got to go. Did you think when you came in here we would just dominate the conversation with offensive line?
I knew.
Anticipated that.
I knew when I was doing this by myself. I said, I know what we're talking about today. We're talking about offensive line.
Well,
it was topical. Yeah, absolutely.
Very topical. What will we talk about when you don't come in and James does?
Oh, he loves offensive line play too.
Well, there you go. It works out great. I know you got a dinner to go to.
Yeah, I do. Looking forward to tomorrow night. It's going to be fun to see our guys go out there and compete. And next week's a big week for us as well.
Yeah.
We've got 2 joints with Tampa, and that'll be fun. I imagine there'll be some fired up people.
Day
let's go.
2 always gets a little bit spunky.
Oh, it's going to be fun. Vita Vea just got signed, which I'm happy because it gives a great look for our guys. Yeah. I mean, what a test to go block one of the better one techniques in football. He also can bump out to a 3. He has some pass rush to him and power. He's a fun player, one of the better ones in the NFL. And
can we get Fa'alele to line up against him, or might that not be kind?
Oh, it could happen.
That's a lot of weight.
Oh, I can't wait to see Big E-Man go at it, too, with him. And don't discount Ezra. The way he's playing right now the last week and what he did on the field, he ain't going to back down from anybody. I mean, it's going to be fun, and they're not going to back down either. And Todd Bowles is coming in. They're going to blitz a lot. It's going to be a great test for Trevor and our skill guys and our backs picking up the blitz. And then you go on the other side of the ball, you got Baker Mayfield, who's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, and they got a bunch of young receivers, and they got one of the best left tackles in football. So you talk about a great test for Josh and Trayvon.
Yeah.
Going against one of the best, Tristan Wirfs, one of the best left tackles in football. I mean, this is how you get better. You want the best against the best. So I'm glad that these guys are coming in, and we'll be tested as a team. And because all we're trying to do right now is get ready for the most important game in the history of the franchise, and that's the Cleveland Browns.
I love it when you say it like that. Tony Boselli, thanks for jumping in.
All right, guys.
Jags HQ. And we're back, Jeff and I, after this on the Jaguars Radio Network.
NFL fans, when it's time to get Jaguars tickets, you can tackle game day with total certainty with Ticketmaster. With 100% verified tickets available all season long, you can count on getting in with ease and spend time focusing on the good stuff. Even if you're headed to the game last minute, you can still score seats. Want to meet up inside the stadium with your crew? Transferring your tickets is an easy handoff. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Jaguars fans, grab your passport. Open and fund a new Everbank performance account for your chance to win the Everbank London Getaway Experience. Round-trip airfare for 2, hotel accommodations, and tickets to the Jaguars game in London this October. Start your journey today at everbank.com/London. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and DC 18 and older. The Everbank London Getaway Sweepstakes from June 29 through August 27. For official rules, which include alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London rules. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank, NA, member FDIC.
Game day means it's time to get loud, get proud, and get real. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Deep Eddy Vodka brings real flavor made with real ingredients to every tailgate, watch party, and post-game toast. Handcrafted in small batches in Austin, Texas, Deep Eddy Vodka is distilled 10 times and is made with purified Texas water, real fruit juice, and pure cane sugar. Wherever you're cheering on the Jaguars, make every moment a real one with Deep Eddy Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Please stay drink responsibly. Deep Eddy Vodka is a product of Deep Eddy Distilling Company, Austin, Texas. 35 to 40% alcohol by volume, distilled from corn.
Want to earn a deal on the entire Toyota lineup at the national sales event? Then do as I say. Great job. You just earned a deal. Lease a new 2026 Toyota Tundra SR5 for $429 a month for 36 months. Offer valid through August 31st, 2026. Well-qualified lessees with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. 5428 due at signing. No security deposit with select equipment. $350 disposition fee excludes tax tag, registration, title, and dealer fee. See dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome back. Jags HQ continues right now.
We're back on Jags HQ. Brian Sexton along with Jeff Lageman. Tony Boselli is on his way out the door. Jeff, we talked about the offensive line, let's be honest. But we touched on the value of the joint practices. We've seen one against the Saints, one against the Panthers, and next week we'll see two against the Buccaneers. Would you have liked to have seen more of that in your playing career?
Yes, just because, and we had some of it in mind. I remember we used to go and practice with the Redskins in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, I believe it was. And that happened once a year. That was kind of an annual tradition between the two organizations at that time. And what I loved about it was that, look, when you go day in and day out facing the same guy, you're not getting any better at using different moves and different techniques and learning how to take different traits that an offensive lineman might have. And the intensity's not the same. Look, when Boselli and I used to be in practice going against each other, we had this little signal, okay? And Coughlin never even knew about it. So I would take two fingers and just wipe them across my chest. And that meant, let's make it sound really good and look really good, and we're not coming off hard.
Right.
Okay? It's the brother-in-law deal.
Got
right?
it.
And so we had many practices that two-finger went across the chest a lot. But when you go against another team, there's no brother-in-law deals. It's competition at its best. And also for your quarterback, you're getting him to practice in a controlled environment, seeing different schemes, different speeds, and the speed is game speed. And you can't simulate that in practice when you're doing it with your own guys. You just can't, because the competition doesn't ratchet up that high. You can have all the Mamba periods you want, okay? Right. Which Mamba periods, by the way, which is Liam Cohen's version of offense versus defense, good versus good. They keep score, there's a winner. It's not the same still. And I will guarantee you that the joint practices next week will also have another layer of competitiveness to it, because we're talking about
Tampa and Liam.
Not exactly a
friendly
departure.
No.
And you've got, some coaches were plucked from that staff. Yeah. There's going to be a very, very strong competitive nature between the coach and staff as well next week, which is going to make next week even
so much
better.
Fun. Can't wait. One of those two is open to the public. Can't wait to see that as well. We'll take a break. Come back. More with Jeff Lageman here on Jags HQ after this on Jaguars Radio.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nationally ranked by U.S. News and World Report. Our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Hey Jaguar fans, get next level performance with Renewal by Andersen Replacement Windows and Doors. Right now, score 20% off your custom window and door replacement project, plus 12 months special financing. Defend your home against Florida weather with our Acclaim Impact Windows, built for the storm, backed by the Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free design consultation and put a winning team on your side. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
Jacksonville builders score big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
Welcome back. Jags HQ continues right now.
Jeff, we got to get an injury report in here brought to you by UF Health. UF Health is the official healthcare provider of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Let me just run some names by you. Tell me what you know, what you think. 2 offensive linemen, Chuma Edoga and Wyatt Milam there's no injury report at this time of year, but they're 2 guys who have not been practicing since last week.
I don't think it's anything significant with either one of those guys. Hopefully you see him next week.
LaQuint Allen is out for the rest of training camp, and Parker Washington is thought to be able to come back next week. Both of those called soft tissue injuries.
Which could mean a lot of things.
The first thing I think of is hamstring, because you know how those things will slow you down. Could be a calf, could be a hamstring, could be a number of different things.
Yeah, and hopefully it's nothing that's of any. The one thing you don't want is to be able to come out of the preseason with a player of like Parker Washington stature, or anybody for that matter, is to have something that's going to nag you all season long. You'd like to be able to kind of just deal with it now and put it away for good so it's not a factor the rest of the year.
You have 24 days until the start of the regular season.
You got time.
What's the point in bringing Parker back next week then?
I was talking to one of the rookies last week. He was dealing with a little injury, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to try to play. I'm like, man, I said, here's the reality. If you play with this injury that's nagging you, okay, you're not going to play as well as you should. And I said, that's not going to help you make the team.
No.
So you got to get that stuff kind of behind you, and then you can play your best.
There's probably not a player out there that's not dealing with something at this point.
I mean, everybody deals with something. I mean, that's just the reality of football, and football hurts.
Football, you're a living testament to this. You were just talking about your shoulder. I swear, if I had a whiteboard in here right now, you remember when Vic Ketchman used to do this show with us?
Yeah, I know.
And he used to be able to go to the whiteboard and explain his pain, right? I bet you could do the exact same thing.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, football is a game of the mentally tough because injuries are part of it. And the reality is that in the modern NFL, you don't have all the aids that we used to have back in the day to help you play.
I think I've heard that. Is that Toradol?
The modern medicine.
Yeah, they've changed it. They have changed it.
It's a little different.
Yeah. And somehow, guys find a way to get out there and play. And these Exos vests that they wear that tracks every rep and the stress level on them, it's not like it used to be. Strategic is the best word for the way that they work guys in training camp.
Well, and look, Tony just got done talking about the staff that they have here when it comes to getting everybody right. Jeff Ferguson's got a staff, and Robbie and Cassie and all the trainers and the doctors that they have, and the sports science people, the sports nutrition people. This is top of the line stuff, and I only wish that we had that same level back in the day, because I mean, back in the day, it was in the infancy stages of development.
Were they still using leeches?
No.
I'm just kidding. Medicine had come on. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the tight ends, right? The young tight ends are starting to show themselves, and we want to talk about them with Jeff Lageman. This is Jags HQ, and we're back right after this on the Jaguars Radio Network.
It's here that a tiny newborn has the heart surgery needed to save her life. It's here that a first grader learns to speak clearly and confidently. It's here that a 12-year-old athlete builds the strength to run full speed again. It's here at Wolfson Children's Hospital that answers are found, courage is shown, and odds are beaten every day. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
NFL fans, when it's time to get Jaguars tickets, you can tackle game day with total certainty with Ticketmaster. With 100% verified tickets available all season long, you can count on getting in with ease and spend time focusing on the good stuff. Even if you're headed to the game last minute, you can still score seats. Want to meet up inside the stadium with your crew? Transferring your tickets is an easy handoff. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Ever see people move an umbrella at a tailgate to cover the beer coolers, or fill their only sink in a hotel room with ice? It's actually kind of crazy the lengths people will go to make sure their beer is ice cold. But no matter what people do, one thing is pretty clear. Because it's not a beer unless it's a cold beer. That's why the Coors Light Mountains turn blue, to tell you when your beer is as cold as the Rockies. Celebrate responsibly. 2026 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Beer.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Looking for more than just another electrical job? At Miller Electric, you work on some of the most exciting and complex projects in the Southeast alongside a team that invests in your success. For more than 98 years, we built a reputation for doing great work while taking care of our people with competitive pay, outstanding benefits, career development opportunities, and a culture built on respect. If you're ready to build something bigger, there's a place for you at Miller Electric. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Want to earn a deal on the entire Toyota lineup at the national sales event? Then do as I say. Great job. You just earned a deal. Lease a new 2026 Toyota Tundra SR5 for $429 a month for 36 months. Offer valid through August 31st, 2026. Well-qualified lessees with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. 5428 due at signing. No security deposit with select equipment. $350 disposition fee. Excludes tax, tag, registration, title, and dealer fee. See dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome back. Jags HQ continues right now.
Pushing our way towards the top of the hour and the conclusion of this show, Jags HQ on the Jaguars Radio Network. Tomorrow, we will have network coverage starting at 6:30 Eastern Time with Countdown to Kickoff, and then Jeff and Frank will have the radio broadcast for you at 7:30 Eastern Time. Bucky Brooks and I will be on the television broadcast on Fox 30 in Jacksonville. And you can find all sorts of other stations around the Southeast where you can find us on Jaguars.com. A couple other random thoughts that come to mind from watching yesterday. The tight ends, Nate Borkacher and Tanner Koziol, 2nd and 5th round picks. Both look like they're starting to, it's probably too strong, but get it, like sort of feel it.
I think it's the best tight end room that the Jaguars have had in its history.
And you said that early in training camp.
I do. I believe it. And what I mean by that, first of all, the tight end has evolved through the years too, and its level of importance and involvement in the game plans, and also the type of players that play the position. Back in the day, you'd have maybe a guy that was more like an offensive tackle, the Kyle Brady's, the Mercedes Lewis.
And they were together in 2006, which I was going to say is probably the only competitor in terms of quality of player. But not nearly the same.
The reality is that both of those guys were a little limited as receivers.
Yeah.
The tight end of today, George Kittle is the model. I mean, he is the epitome of what every coach wants to have. Okay? Evan Ingram is nice to have, but he's not what you want to have because he doesn't instill fear in defensive coordinators' minds about being a blocker.
And Evan Ingram is brought to mind for people who are listening because he had 114 receptions one year.
And they treated him like a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Okay? What you want to have as an offensive coordinator, and what Liam wants, and why it was a priority in the draft, he wants to have tight ends that defensive coordinators respect as receivers and as blockers. Then it puts defensive coordinators in a little bit of a pickle. How am I going to treat this 12 personnel, which is 1 back and 2 tight ends, or 13 personnel, which is 1 back and 3 tight ends and 1 wide receiver? The number that's always left out is wide receivers. And you got to remember that it all adds up to 5.
Right.
Okay, so if it's 13, 1 back, 3 tight ends, 1 wide receiver. Okay, 11, 1 back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers, okay? And the rage now in the NFL is multiple tight ends on the field because it gives them such flexibility to call plays, but at the same time, it really restricts what defenses can do from a personnel standpoint. Are they going to match you with a pass defense personnel?
Yep.
Then you can run it. they match you with a run front, then you can throw it because you have tight ends that can block and they can catch. It's the Sean McVay, Liam Cohn way, and it's an important part to this football team. And I think from Brenton Strange to Borkshire, who is a very good blocker and also a very good receiver, but doesn't have a lot of opportunities, and it's kind of unknown.
That's the interesting part. When I asked Tony after the draft about Borkshire, he goes, look, I watched everything on him, and I watched their biggest game, and it was their Notre Dame game. He said for 59 minutes and 50 seconds, they didn't target him. But when the game was on the line,
he caught everything.
They threw it at him.
And he catches everything. And he's smooth. And he's got the ability to catch in traffic. And then Colgio, we obviously know, you had mentioned earlier about his stats, which, the first in catches in the NCAA.
And second in receptions.
Second in yards.
Among tight ends.
First and second in yards and receptions, however it works.
Really good.
Really good player, and he needs to work on some of his blocking technique and all that kind of stuff. But look, let's also go all the way down to Quentin Morris, one of the core special teams players and also one of the best blocking tight ends they have on the roster.
Did he not have a critical block on the goal line last year against the Chargers that freed up room to get into the end zone for Travis?
I believe he crushed. He crushed the defensive end outside linebacker for the Chargers. Long-time player.
Bosa,
the guy that was in Buffalo.
Khalil Mack.
Yeah. Thank you. Crushed him.
Yeah.
So it's a really good group. And if I'm Richard Angulo, I'm thrilled to coach that group because I think it's an exceptional group.
Their ability to stretch the.
By the way, they're going to cut a couple guys.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going to.
Because you mentioned Patrick Herbert, right? Justin Herbert, by the way,
he's made tremendous progress.
His younger brother, who played with him at Oregon,
he's had a really good camp, and so has Hunter Long in the last week has had a really good camp. A little bit slow start, but this past week, his play in the game in New Orleans and his practice this week, he's been really good. So somebody's not going to make it. I mean, I'm guessing Hunter Long,
right,
and Herbert probably won't make it just from a number standpoint, but they're good players.
So all these good players behind Brenton Strange, what does this do for number 85?
It allows him to be the H guy. So it allows him to be the off-the-ball tight end, which he's going to have a ton more targets as a receiver this year. But then also he's one of the best blocking tight ends in the league. I put him up there. If you're talking about the George Kittle types, George Kittle is at the top. Okay, he's up there. I think Brenton Strange, along the lines of that type of player, he's the next guy that you would put on the list.
And he's going to have a ton more targets because the matchups. I mean, is he going to get a linebacker instead of a safety?
Yeah, I think you almost have to because he can block.
Yeah.
And here's one of the funnest things to watch in practice is, and a lot of times I'm down there with the one-on-ones of the offensive and defensive linemen, but while that's going on, they also have one-on-ones going on with the corners and the wide receivers, and then also the safeties and the linebackers against tight ends and running backs. Antonio Johnson and Brenton Strange go against each other almost all the time in that one-on-one drill because the old saying, iron sharpens iron.
Yep.
Those two guys love it because they know they're making each other better. And they're both really good football players.
And they both play with great energy.
Really
I
good
just
energy.
Can't say that enough about the way Antonio
Love
Johnson
both
was
of them.
flying all over the field. Let's take our final break. We'll come back more with Jeff Lageman here on Jags HQ, and you're listening to Jaguars Radio.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Back before Brian had a granddaughter to help take care of. Back when he was in his 20s. Brian served in the Army Special Forces and sustained brain injuries during a tour overseas. Today, Brian participates in the Haley Brain Wellness Program at UF Health, a program that helps veterans and first responders recover from traumatic brain injury. Brian was proud to serve his country, and now we're proud to serve him. UF Health. Human progress has no finish line.
Johnstone Supply Wholesale provides HVAC contractors with Amana air conditioners, heat pumps, and furnaces homeowners trust. Built to be reliable, quiet, and energy efficient to provide indoor heating and cooling comfort year-round. Don't settle for less. Trust the experts. To find the right system for your home, locate an Amana Advantage specialist near you at johnstoneamana.com. That's johnstoneamana.com.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger, made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Hi, it's Sam Kavaris. I've traveled a lot in my career, and for more than 30 years, I've trusted Echo East Coast Transportation to start and end every trip. That trust is why the Jaguars named them as their official transportation company, ensuring they get wherever they're going safely, on time, stress-free, and ready to play. Call them at 904-631-5466 or find them online at echoeastcoast.com. Echo East Coast Transportation, trusted by the Jaguars, trusted by Jacksonville.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Welcome back. Jags HQ continues right now.
Final 3 or 4 minutes of the program. Don't forget, this Friday night, the Jaguars are kicking things off at Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville, and the game is presented by our friends at Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster is the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars. 7:30 kick. For those of you on the network, 6:30 for countdown to kickoff. For those of you in Jacksonville listening to the flagship radio station, we'll get things started at 4:30. Mike Dempsey and Austin Lane and myself. It's a busy time of year, but a fun time of year as we get started towards the start of the regular season. 24 days away. What's the biggest question mark you have about this team that you'd like to see answers for from Carolina and Tampa joint practices and games?
Well, I mean, the biggest question after the week in New Orleans was the offensive line.
Right.
And I think that's starting to take shape.
Yeah.
It's not settled, but it's taking shape, and now you got another guy that you're adding to the mix, and you're getting Van Lanen back, so I think that's going to do nothing but help. I don't think there's a ton of questions, but the biggest question to my mind, or in my mind, would be, what's the role of Travis Hunter going to be?
Ooh, good one.
And is because you want to make sure that it's best for the team.
This is what happens when all you talk about is offensive line. Well, you forget Travis Hunter.
Well, and look, I mean, I think he's the best corner, but at the same token, you want to play him on offense too because he's a significant player over there. So I just think it's going to be really, and here's the reality also, you don't want to ever make what Travis Hunter is going to be more important than team goals.
Right.
So it has to fit within the goals of the team. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out and how he can best help the team.
Well, just to push that a little bit, I was told by a coach last year that after a game, when Liam talked to him about, hey, we wanted to do this, we wanted to do this, we didn't get it done, he goes, Coach, we won. right? I mean, we want.
Yeah, I don't worry about that.
He's a team first guy.
Yeah, I don't worry about that part of it from him, and that he would put himself over the team, because I think that's what has made him so special everywhere that he's been so far. But what does that look like from the Jacksonville Jaguars standpoint? Right. What's best for the team? What's the best way to use him? And I don't know the answer to that. And
to remind me again, did you think he would come in and be more impactful as a receiver or a corner?
I thought initially that he should play wide receiver. Can touch the ball more. He's got amazing
naturally
body control. He's got speed. He's got great ball skills. I mean, he's got everything. And the reality is that there's some teams and other people that are in personnel business, they thought the opposite.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer to that, Brian, but I just know that whatever you want to allow him to do, make sure that you allow him to be at his best.
Well, and that's what they say they're going to do. We will not see him until the Cleveland game in the regular season. So plenty of time to continue the conversation. Where in the world is Travis Hunter? Jeff, thanks so much. It was a fun show.
Enjoyed it.
Exciting things happening here tomorrow night, and you'll hear all of it right here on the Jaguars Radio Network. Thanks for listening to Jags HQ. For Brent Reber, Joe Fortunato, and our entire broadcast crew, we thank you and wish you a good evening. It's thundering in Jacksonville. Stay dry if you're in Northeast Florida. Good night, everybody.